What's up, guys? So today is February 29th, which is leap year day, and the snow is now coming back. Though even though snow does accumulate, I don't think it's going to stick around for very long, because once we get into March, we're going to have milder temperatures, mostly in the upper single digits to the low teens. But anyhow, temperature right now is -5 degrees centigrade, and I think the daytime high today is supposed to be -2, -3, but it's like the only time for a while where we had a daytime high below 0. But it's only for that one day only, despite the season. So we're in the Islington city center neighborhood, and this here is Bloor Islington Place. Ooh, I almost tripped on something. That's a sidewalk brick. I'm getting a nice smell right here. It smells kind of like perfume right now. So it looks like we're walking directly towards the snow. Yeah, so as you can see, it's gradually accumulating, but unfortunately it's not gonna stick around very long. That's the thing, you know, when you're like in late season or early spring, well, late March into April, if snow does accumulate, it's not gonna last. But we're like a month ahead already. At least that's what it feels like. I've been hearing the sounds of spring birds lately, the robins, and I'm like, really? Spring birds have come too early, prematurely. So those robins are coming back in a premature time, although they don't have calendars like us. They just have to, I guess they just use their senses, or they can sort of get a certain vibe of whether or not to come back. Okay, and the sun is starting to come out. That must be a daycare center there. So the subway runs directly underneath where we're walking, although it probably runs directly underneath the driveway, the road. Speaking of which, I can actually feel the subway running. I can feel the ground rumbling a little bit. See, that's what I'm saying. But I can only feel a slight rumble because we're not actually standing directly over the subway line. So I'm not too far from where I live, but I thought I'd make, you know, a bit of a walking video because, well, just to acknowledge the day that comes every 4 years, February 29th. That here must be a tennis club. It kind of looks like a club, really, because it's completely fenced in. Well, actually, it's private property. I think the tennis court may only be accessible if you live in this building right here, but that's just a guess. Yeah, exactly. Use of the residents of the Kingsway on the park. Yeah. So I was right. That's strictly what it's for. Okay, I was wrong, mate. The subway does run underneath where I was walking, because the portal is just right there. I could see another tennis court there. There's a memorial community center there. I think it's called Montgomery Community Center, something like that. But there's a swimming pool in there. I have been to the swimming pool inside there sometimes. Like when I was in kindergarten, I used to go to the swimming pool there. And then there's a Catholic school and a Etobicoke Collegiate, which is quite a well-known high school. They host their concerts, like they host concerts that are like community based. Okay, maybe we'll just wait for the subway to come out. Okay, maybe it won't stand too close. By the way, I'm not using a selfie stick right now. I left it at home, so I'm filming the old-fashioned way. It's gonna come out from here. Aha, I knew it. I can tell it's an eastbound train. Well, of course I can tell, because if it was a westbound train, it would be coming from over there, and I can see it coming right now. You know, first I thought it was gonna come out from the middle, but that's kind of stupid of me to think that, because the train never goes in and out through the middle. Okay, let's watch this one go. I did ride the subway between Royal York and Islington, so I know there's a bit of maintenance on the tracks. Like, the train is moving slow between those two stations. You can see the subway driver in there driving the train. Ah, you can also hear the external announcement saying line 2 towards Kipling. Sometimes that happens where the external announcements just keep going on and on and on, not just when the train has arrived at the station, but it'll just keep playing itself in between. I find it annoying when it does that. Same with the external bus route announcement. That'll say 73C Royal York, northbound towards Clareport via Albion Road, or 48 Rathburn, westbound towards Mill Road. When the bus is actually in the station, sometimes that external announcement will just keep playing itself again and again and again every 5 seconds. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. But you can't really do anything when it comes. It's hard to resolve when it comes to technology. Now this right there is Tom Riley Park. I filmed a nature video in there last year on Family Day. And that must be a community garden. So we'll just walk towards the end. And then maybe I think I'll just walk towards the end, then I'll film the trains coming and going, and then I'll continue a move on, and then that'll be it. I have it kind of planned out. Imagine if your birthday was today. You wouldn't really be celebrating. You'd only celebrate your birthday once every 4 years. I actually had a special needs assistant whose birthday was February 29th. She was born on a leap year day. Oh my gosh. You'd have to be really unlucky to be born on February 29th. Though I was born on a leap year, but thank goodness I was born September 21st. Because listen, if you're born on February 29th, you'd only get to celebrate your birthday once every 4 years. Now, the age doesn't really change. The age doesn't change at all, okay? Like, let's say you're born today. It doesn't mean you're not going to turn 1 until 2028 and then turn 2 in 2032. Okay, the age is still literally the same, but you basically have a date of birth that doesn't really exist. So as of tomorrow, the rest of the year is going to replicate 2019 and 2013. Okay, so there's trains coming, going. They're both meeting each other. I like it when they do that. It really makes my transit compilation videos stand out. Though I don't do them anymore, but I do have plans to bring them back in another year. So what I mean by that is that, for example, March 1st, tomorrow is going to be a Saturday. And the last time March 1st landed on a Saturday was 2013 and 2019, in my lifetime. And there's the Mimico Creek right here. Oh, that looks like a crow. Yeah, it's probably a crow. Are those buds growing on the trees? Look, you know what? Let me zoom in a little bit. These look like buds. I don't know if it's my imagination or if buds are growing prematurely. It's not even March yet. And normally you don't see buds growing on the trees until at least April. Even late March you don't see buds growing. Like, I don't know, would you... Okay, it goes out of focus. The thing with filming small things from up close is that the camera's always going to go out of focus, but I don't know if it's like that throughout the whole season. Maybe it's just my imagination, but if buds are starting to come out in late February, then that's super, super rare. I mean, look at Tuesday. We had a thunderstorm. When is the... That's like late February is the earliest we can get a thunderstorm, but that's premature because it's not thunderstorm season. So when I say we're a month ahead, none of this is wrong. And I have a feeling that March 2024 is going to be mild in temperature-wise. I think it's going to be a warm or mild March this year. Last March was pretty cold. We might have reached 10 degrees at one time, but that was about it. It was mostly typical January, February last year. And I do remember having snow on the ground pre-Miami trip. In fact, if you watch that flight video that I posted last year, you can actually see that there was snow on the ground back then. So, I mean, likewise, every year is different. I'm just trying to see, do I recognize this music? The music sounds a little bit familiar. I feel like I might recognize it. First I thought it was the Harry Belafonte Banana Boat song, but apparently it isn't. Speaking of which, Harry Belafonte died last year in 2023. Okay, we've got some high school students here. Maybe we'll just cross right there. I don't really want to be in their way. Okay, they're kind of hard to avoid. So you know what? Okay, that was a bad idea. I think I'm gonna deviate from my route. That's what I think. You know what? That's what I should do. I think these guys are on lunch break. They're probably going to go to the Starbucks there. It's not uncommon to see high school students at Starbucks. I was one of them, by the way. But, you see, I'm very awkward in terms of being social. Like, I'm so socially awkward. I used to go to the Starbucks right behind Runnymede subway station, but then I stopped going there because that's where a lot of my schoolmates go to, and I feel shy running into somebody outside of school. So that's why I used to go to, that's why I would go to the one on Bloor and Thompson. Now this library here is where I used to go every week back when I was a kid. Okay, let me put my glove back on. My hands are getting cold. So this is Brentwood Library, and it was actually revamped back in the early 2010s. Like if you go back to 2011 or 2012, they really changed things up. I remember coming here when I was really little in like 2009, and the building was different and the interior was different. So they really changed things up. Then all of a sudden they were doing some revitalizing here, and I thought they were going to tear this building down, but no, they revamped. They restored this whole building. So there was one time when the three of us, me, my mom, and dad, went in the early 2010s, and I was like, wow, the interior is so much different. I can't believe it. I'm actually glad they did that, because the old interior of that library was didn't have a very good vibe in comparison to the current one. But, you know, the library is a great place to study. You're always going to find college or university students sitting there doing their homework. I mean, it's a place to borrow books, but it's also a quiet place to study. That's why they have a noise policy anytime you go into a library. Although the common area can probably get pretty loud at times. But if you go to like the second floor, then you got to keep your voice down. So now I'm holding the camera in one hand because there's a car coming, we gotta move out of the way. Because my right hand is getting cold, so I've got to keep it in my pocket. Thank goodness winter has been mild this year. I mean, I'm not glad that we didn't have much snow, but I guess my gloves are wearing out. I've had them for almost a year, and they're supposed to be really warm, but the wind can really outsmart the material. I guess I'd have to wear a double or triple pair of gloves in order to really keep my hands warm. Only thing is, though, it would be more of a hassle to use my phone and look at it. I kind of meant to come this route anyway. Then I had the idea to film, excuse me, just burped, film the subway train from the other end, but there were so many students there, and I felt a little uncomfortable, so I thought I might as well just deviate to my original plan. Now these trees right here might be, they're not pine. They could either be spruce or birch trees. I know they look very familiar. They're definitely not pines. Sometimes they have a smell. Let me smell them. Can't smell anything. Maybe it's because it's so cold outside. My nose doesn't work as well. They say that cold things don't smell. That's why it's kind of hard to smell ice cream. So we're gonna keep heading along Brentwood Road, and then until we hit the hydro green space. Yeah, this will be the only walking video I'll film today because the weather's pretty bad. Yesterday was horrible. I mean, we reached our typical February mild temperature day of 11 degrees, but then as they started to drop, they dropped significantly down to minus 10 or whatnot, or below minus single digits. But anytime you see a forecast saying the temperature is going to drop from like 11 degrees down to minus 15, you could tell it's going to be a windy day, because that's what happens when temps drop dramatically. I went to the gym yesterday, and yeah, it was very, very windy, but then when I got out of the gym and I waited to take the bus back home, oh my gosh, the weather was horrible. Way too windy. It was mostly hard on the face. I mean, my whole body wasn't really that cold, but the thing with the face, you can't really keep it warm because it's exposed. In Canada, you got to get used to the face feel, but you know, the wind also slows me down. I thought that the wind was also gonna blow me off my feet and blow me like a parachute or like some flying bag you see. That would be really scary. I mean, I wouldn't mind being able to fly, even though it's impossible, but if only I had my way to control. But if the wind is just going to push me wherever it wants to, then that's a scary, scary thing. So I had to trudge right through the wind, and I had to keep my face turned sideways, even though you're supposed to look directly ahead of you to watch for traffic. I couldn't do that because there was debris flying over there, and there was debris flying in my direction, so I had to keep my face turned sideways because I didn't want anything blown in my eyes. Maybe I should start wearing safety goggles anytime I go out in heavy wind. So looks like we're approaching a roundabout. Yeah, we're just going to continue going south. I think I'll end the video at the Hydro Green Space. It would be a pretty good hike to Etobicoke Collegiate. That way it would be a shortcut. That's like one of the only times where nature walks are meant for commuting, because they could sometimes make a shortcut even though they usually make a long cut. So we're now at Kings Grove. We'll cut right through here. Uh-oh. Who didn't pick up after their dog shit? You people. That's bad for the environment, guys. Come on, don't be a pig. Just because it's cold out doesn't mean you don't have to pick up after your dog. Well, mind you though, even in the summertime, there's going to be lazy people who refuse to pick up after the dogs. I don't know why dog owners have to be so careless, because they usually don't keep their dogs on leash, even though they're supposed to, and they don't pick up after their dog shit. Get your act together, dog owners. I know it sounds hypocritical for me to rant about the smallest of things I encounter, even though it's none of my business, but it doesn't hurt to be protective of the environment. That could be what an Earth Ranger would do. Because when you're an Earth Ranger, you'd be very protective of animals and nature. Me, I guess I'm kind of an Earth Ranger, even though I'm no expert in environmental science. I gotta turn my head a little bit sideways right now because there's snow blowing in my direction. Oh, 6 dogs at once. Oh, looks like somebody wants to get by. Here, I'll move out of the way. Let Mr. Jeep take its course. Oh, okay, so he's not wanting to get by. He just wants to park in that driveway. Oh well, make up your mind. He's backing out again. Ooh, sounds like an organ. Oh, it's a church bell. Of course. There is a church right on Dundas. Forgot the name of it. But there's also a school or a daycare center in there as well. It's probably like Montessori or something like that. Wait a second, did I say it's Friday? I meant Thursday, my bad. I said at the beginning of the video it's Friday, February 29th. It feels like Friday, but it's actually Thursday. So last time March 1st landed on a Friday was 2013 and 2019 in my lifetime. So this year won't 100% replicate those 2 years because January and February landed on the same days of the week in 2007 and 2018, but March but starting in March it shifts over to the 2013 and 2019 vibe. And 2019 doesn't feel like a very long time ago. I guess it's because it's the final year in the 2010s. We're already in the mid-2020s, so it's just hard to believe. Ooh, somebody has a trampoline there. Very cool. I know somebody who used to have a trampoline, but I guess the raccoons got a hold of it and they ate through it. Yeah, so that's the entrance to the the Hydro Corridor green space. It doesn't really have a name, but because it's not very popular, but see, just past this black fence is the pathway that leads you in there. Ooh, one of them modern looking homes. You could see Islington City Center from here. So anyhow, thank you all for watching, and remember to drop a like and subscribe, because that would mean a lot. Peace out.